All right, Shalom. First and foremost, all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakodash. All right, double honors to the apostles. That was a great millstone. And Sausage Brothers doing this thing in sincerity, in truth, and with charity. All right, Yahweh was named Heavenly Father. Bahasham is in the name. Ba'in Hada Sham name. Yahweh Shai is named on the begotten Son. And Racha Kwadash means Holy Spirit, literally translated Spirit Holy. Racha Spirit, Kwadash Holy. Kwadash means holy. And this is basically a skillful add into the video you see on the screen, which is the Elder Malcolm, an elder here in Chicago. And this is his channel, Critical Race Historical Facts. Most of you will know anyway, but this is his channel. But here's the video. Watch his video first because, as I said, it's the skillful adding, Just want to add in some precepts and points to what the elder broke down in this video. So I'm going to play this clip first.
So that's the page that I'm on in this book. It's page 23. All right? It's called Making of the Nations, Sovereignty and Equality. All right? And it reads, no nation possesses an ethnic base naturally, but as social formations are nationalized, populations included within them, divided up among them or dominated by them, are ethnicized. That is, represented in the past or in the future as if they formed a natural community. All right, and that was by Etienne Balibar, some French guy. The nation formed history and ideology. Nationalism was the form in which democracy appeared in the world, contained in the idea of a nation as a butterfly in a cocoon. And that was written by Leah Greenfield, Nationalism, 5 Roads to Modernity. All right? It says, thinkers and scholars have struggled for hundreds of years with the issue of nationalism, but have not come up with an unbiased, universally accepted definition. A widely accepted description will probably be achieved only after the age of the nation has ended. When Minerva's owl takes flight and we see the past of the overreaching collective identity that so powerfully shapes modern culture. All right? So culture, the Bible gave you the cultures. And these people don't acknowledge the cultures that are written in the Bible. All right? Why? Because if you start all the nations can be identified in Genesis the 10th chapter. All right? And the one nation that the Lord chose. All right? As a matter of fact, let's give you an example. Let's go to Genesis. Let's go to Genesis.
Okay. And really, that's good enough right there. And that book and what the elder said is heavy through the spirit, right? The nations are not acknowledged anymore. And I say nations, I mean the actual nations, your heritage, your culture, because nationality isn't, oh, I'm American. All right, and then you got Israelites here, you got Moabites here, you got Ishmael, Edom, all these different races, all these different ethnicities, all these different peoples, which the elder goes into. All right, because to be a nation is to be the same people. All right, and the Hebrew is Amah. All right, or All right, and that's your actual nationality. America is not a nation. Rome is not a nation. Greece is not a nation. And this is really when you start to see what we have, where the nationalities are not kept anymore. Because even in Babylon captivity, all right, we knew we were the Israelites. Hell, at some point we got our land back. Same with Media Persia. All right. Hell, they knew they were Elam. It was still held who they were. They still who knew who they were. They knew who the other nations were. All right, so maybe they decided to call themselves after a king that was before them or whatever. But they never changed the rest of the world's heritages. So attempted to make this people now Chinese, this people Greeks, this change the whole name of Egypt, what they call Egypt now, but that wasn't what it was called before. Egypt is a Greek word. It goes back to Egyptos. The whole land was called Kemet. But now they call it what? Africa. Then they called, during the time of Greece, they called it Egypt. After what they desired to put. All right? And Esau, Edom is the only ones that's done that, which, shows who they are. All right? Who went to undeceive the world? It says Satan went to deceive the nations. Well, who did that? Who went and did this? With Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their bids. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. And they covet fields and take them by violence. So they want your land, they take it, and houses, and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. All right, your heritage goes to your land, but also who you are. They oppress that, man. All right, they push that down. So now you're not even Moabites, you're Chinese. Then they come with this crazy rhetoric. Well, you got dark-skinned people, black people because they were at the south of the equator, whatever. They said they got white people because of the north. Well, that's bullshit because all the nations have dark-skinned people in it. The East Indians, Elam, Chinese, Moab, Japanese, Ammon, Ishmael, Ashur, everybody except for Edomites have dark, very dark people. But Esau is the devil and he pushes this bullshit, man. This is his job, man. It's his job to go and deceive the world, man. And part of deceiving the world is oppressing your heritage. All right? Coming and changing things up. End of the day, to be a nation is to be the same people. All right? And let's get, when did this start happening? Now, Elder Malcolm hit the Maccabees, the first Maccabees. One, and I'm gonna start at 4. He gathered a mighty strong host, talking about Alexander, and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him. And after these things he fell sick and perceived that he should die. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, and had parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died, and his servants bare rule, everyone in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. Now let's Salakia. They say the Syrians occupied Jerusalem. These weren't the real Syrians. More oppressed on the heritage, You know what? Let me do it this way. Because it may be second Maccabees. Oh, okay. This is First Maccabees 1:41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. As opposed to keeping your own heritage, your nationality, your own customs, said, no, we're going to change that. We're going to be one people. And everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yeah, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. So this is just what Esau does, man. He takes your land, all right, takes over your heritage, all right, because Alexander wasn't even a Greek. You know, his line goes back to Edom, and it's proven through the scriptures. It links up. He goes back to King Agag. When you look through Esther, all right, when it talks about the Macedonian, all right, which they weren't the real Macedonians, but you know that's what they do. They get in there, take over a whole new identity, because that's his MO. You know, Job 9:24, he covered the face of the judges thereof. We just read to Micah 2. He'll take over your heritage. All right. Then he changed the names up. Then he puts his image up. He made himself into the Egyptian gods, the Greek gods. Just completely oppress your whole race and nationality and take over and then call you what the hell he want to call you, man. That's part of his God complex. Because again, the Lord set up who the nations are. And we know the scriptures say what? Esau, Edom wants to be as God. So he takes on whatever heritage he want to take on. That's why he calls himself South African, because he lived there. No, that's not how it works. That's a race of people. That's his own nation. But now if you say South Africans, you're not just talking about actual Africans. But that's been happening throughout history. From starting with Greece to Rome to what we see now. So you speak of Britain and Europe because who's currently what you perceive as the Britons and Europeans. You think of Britons and Europeans. Oh, you think of Edomites, man. But no, Jake was ruling at that time. But Esau, years ago, I should say, after Rome fell and the Holy Roman Empire came into power, and the Byzantine Empire, that was Jake ruling. And they followed after the ways of Esau. They called themselves these different things that aren't actual heritages. So now when you say these certain nations, you got this misperceived notion of who really is supposed to be there, man. You think of Egypt, what they show as Egyptians today, Arabians. Then you got a group of people that think the Egyptians were actual white, so-called white people. That's been a whole debate lately. Like, what the fuck is going on? Egypt is part of Africa, right? But that's because they oppress your heritage, man. Change things up, change the landmark, move people around. Let me grab that. This man is the devil the Bible speaks of. Simple. This is Deuteronomy 27:17. Cursed be he that removeth his neighbor's landmark, and all the people shall say Amen. Proverbs 20-28. Remove not the ancient landmark which thy fathers have set. And it tells you in Isaiah 34, Edom is the people of the Lord's curse. So these things that Esau does proves that he's that seed of the cursed seed, man. That he is that wicked one. All right? He went out and deceived the nation. This is part of his deceit. To push his agenda to make everybody one people. So he can be at the top as God, man. Everybody follow his ways. Hey, but the Lord has sent his prophets out to profess the truth, man. There's Isaiah 25:7. He will destroy the mount in this mountain, the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. All right? So the truth is being revealed, man. The covering that's been put over the nations is being pulled back. All right. So let's get let's get. I wanted to, I'm gonna do it. This is Etim Online. This is the word Greek, right? Middle English Grek from Old English Graecus, Krakus plural, Greeks, inhabitants of Greece, and early Germanic borrowing from Latin, Graci, the Hellenes, the Hellenes. All right, and when we read through the scriptures, we know that. Well, let's get an example. Well, why talk about it? Let's be about it. Acts 6:1, and in those days when the number of the disciples was multiplied, there arose a murmuring of the Grecians against the Hebrews because their widows were neglected in the daily ministration. Let's get this word for Greek. It should just be Greek, right? Or something that even closely resembles Greek, the word Greek or Greece. Because after all, that's who these people are, right? But let's see. No, it's Hellenistes. Oh. And then it said the derivative of Helen, where we're at now, Helen. Let's click on Helen, Halas. So where did this Greek word come from? Let's keep going. And we'll set the Latin already. Apparently from Greek Grakoi, the first use of Grakos as equivalent to Hellenes or Helens is found in Aristotle. A modern theory put forth by German classical historian derives it from Grakos, inhabitant of Graea, literally gray, also old, withered. A town on the coast of Boeotia, which was the name given by the Romans to all Greeks. So this is the name that was put on the modern. When you look at Greece and think about the Greeks, that title was put on them by the Romans, their fellow Edomites. They were calling themselves Helen, which Helen, now that I'm saying out loud, because they know J's in Hebrew. Let me look up. Let's do this real quick, since we own it. Yeah, I just wanted to check. Yep. Yawanaya. All right. Or Javon. They put Javon. And Helen sound more like Javon or Havan or Yavan, as they, which is no V in Hebrew, but as far as, the tongues change in the different languages, Helen sounds more like that. So they weren't calling themselves Greeks. That's why what they call what Alexander did, he Hellenized things. He put the what we call Greek ways upon the people. He loved that culture that wasn't his. So he became Grecian or Javan or Helen. All right. Helen or whatever. And pushed that onto the that part of the world at that time. Those customs. But we see that Rome put that name Greece on them. That ain't what they called themselves. All right? And it's damn sure what the original so-called Greeks called themselves, man. We just read what they would be called because the Bible sets up the nations. That's why when we looked up the word Grecian, it was a whole Hebrew word there. Same thing, while we're on it, for Egypt. These are just examples. Because this is what Esau has been doing, man. Old English, Egypte, the Egyptians from French, Egypt, from Greeks, Egyptos. And that's basically what it goes back to. That's the Greeks called it. That's what the Edomites called it. Egyptos. And it stuck. And it stuck. The river now, Egypt from Amarna, Hikupta, corresponding to Egyptian Hatakapta, temple of the soul of Ptah, some false god, a god associated with Memphis, the ancient city of Egypt. Strictly one of the names of Memphis, it was taken by the Greeks as the name of the whole country. The Egyptian name Kemet, the land is called Kemet. This is etymology. It means black country. Well, let's get where the word Kemet comes from. Psalms 105:23. Israel also came into Egypt, and Jacob sojourned in the land of Ham. Because that people of Egypt, because that's what it is, the nation is the people. Again, watch the Elder Malcolm's video. All right, to be of the same nation is to be of the same people. That nation, that people, the Egyptians, come from the line of Ham. Because that's how nationalities works. It's a race. It's who you are. It's your bloodline. Just as our heritage, our bloodline is the Israelites, that's how it is for everybody. Everybody has their heritage, man. In fact, let me prove that the bloodline is your heritage. Psalms 16:6. The lines are fallen unto me in pleasant places. Yeah, I have a goodly heritage. Our bloodlines, our blood lot, the what we belong to, our group, our blood group, is our heritage, man. Period. So this is Psalm 105:23. Israel also came to Egypt, as you know, read Genesis. It was a famine. Joseph saved us, all right, by how it worked out with him being sold to slavery in Egypt, etc. Right? Or not, and when it was not called Egypt, then we're going to get that. In fact, let's do it now. And keep this in mind. The word for Egypt is, they got Mizraim, but it's Matazarayim. Ma, all right, goes right to left. Ma, Tazah, Ra, Ya, Ma. Matazarayim. All right? That's what it was called, not Egypt. Again, that title is put on them by a whole group of another group of people. And that allows for, when you think of Egypt, you don't see the actual Egyptians. You see who's ever there now, who was there when it was last great. So you think of Egypt now, you think of the Arabians there. That's there now. All right? Or you think about, they like to promote Cleopatra, all right, which is during the time of the Ptolemies, which were Edomites, crackers. Yes, Cleopatra is not a black woman. She's a white woman. She's of the line of Ptolemy. All right, one of the four kings that ruled after Alexander the Great. You don't think back to the original actual nation of Egypt, which would be Matazarayim, because it's been the name's been changed, the idea of it's been changed. It's no longer about this one group of people, because when Ptolemy was ruling, when it was Egypt, that wasn't the one people of Mizraim. That was Edomites, Hamites. You had Israelites there. It was the same as America. You think of America, you don't just think of white people. You think of this whole mix of people. You got motherfucking. You ask a Chinese motherfucker, oh, where your family from? Virginia. Bitch, you know what we mean. What's your nationality? Where do your people originate from? But they so deceived, they believe that they're actually, their heritage is American. That's madness. Heritage is given in the Bible. Psalms 105:23. Israel also came into Egypt, and Jacob sojourned in the land of Ham. Let's get the word for Ham. It's Cham. C-H-A-M. The C-H-A-A-M. Cham. And it means hot. It's the same where the word chemistry comes from. All right? Cham, hot. All right? It means hot. And what they at? It's hot land, right? But and something gets hot, it gets black. But so okay, loosely they say it means black country. But let you know that these old nations and the names of it goes back to the scriptures, man. Esau changing these names up is a big way to hide the truth of the Bible. That's why it's important for like, why Adam Malcolm's video is important, man. And then it leads to shining light on the creation of the creation of the is it Israeli or Jew? The creation of the Jewish people. Because now you can just become whoever. So now they can convert and become us. No, it's not a religion. This is the nationality, man. No, it's not just the state of Israel. No, this is an actual race of people. But with them making the nations whatever they want to make it and having this mixed group, etc., all right, then now they can become us, Israelites. No, well, they say Israelis. It don't work that way. So, black country, possibly in reference to the rich delta soil. The Arabic is Misr, which derives from Mizraim, the name of a son of biblical Ham. Why was this land, even in the like it says, the Arabic? Why was this nation referred to as the name that's called in the Bible? Because the scriptures is real. True nationality is in the Bible, man. The Lord set these things up. And Esau, being the devil he is, part of his trickery was to get you to believe the labels he put on you. That way it can mislabel us, make us black, make us Mexican, as opposed to who we are, man, as the Israelites. So let's get Acts 17. Yeah. And then we'll wrap it up soon. This Acts 17. 26. Hath made of one blood all nations of men for to dwell on all the face of the earth, and have determined the times before appointed and the bounds of their habitation. Cursed be the man that changed the landmarks. The Lord divided us, man. All right? It ain't no fucking, you got this physical feature because you was in the sun. This group of people ain't lost their melanin because they was in the mountains in the cold. That's bullshit. The Asians got this fold because of the snow. They had to be able to see in this type of weather. What the hell are you talking about? Hey, look, the Bushmen have similar facial structures, and these are Hamites, to Asians, minus the fold. They don't have the, I believe it's epicantic. They don't have the epicantic fold, but they have similar facial features. So why do they have that? If it's about what you were geographically, why do these people in Africa have that? Why is it dark people in all these nations? How do we get divided up? Because we all come from a common ancestor, technically. We all come from Noah. We all come from Adam. That's how we get to Adam, because through Noah. We all get to Adam through Noah. Which there's really only one line that's kept and tracked through Adam. Because the Lord divided the nations. That's the point. How do we get these different features? We all come from the same person. Because the Lord divided the nations, man. That's the power of the Lord. We're all different people because the Lord divided the nations. We all got our portion of land, our own heritage, our own culture, our own spirits. As a people, a nation, that's all the will of the Lord. Man, what was the other one? Oh yeah, let me get to the point. Deuteronomy 32 ended on this. This Deuteronomy 32. Was it when the Sirach? Let me check the Sirach real quick. Yeah. Okay, I know I wasn't tripping. This is Deuteronomy 32 and 8. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, the Lord set up the nations, man, and divided them. When he separated the sons of Adam. What the heck? When he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. So Israel got the chiefest piece. Because, hey, well, the next line. For the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. So, hey, Israel is the chosen people. And the Lord set everything up, separate everybody. Israel got the chiefest part. It was, but the point is, the Lord separated the nations. The Lord set the nations up. All right. So history, when you look back at history, you can get overwhelmed, for lack of a better phrase, because different times this one nation was ruled by different people because they done changed the damn names. Just like the Egypt example. Right now we got Arabs there. Before that it was a mix, but it was ruled by Edomites. So that's whose face is connected to it, because it was ruled by Edomites. That's who images was left up. Edom, a so-called white man. So when you go back to the Cleopatra, you don't think of actual Africans. You think of white people. When you think of Rome, Rome had citizens from all over the known world then, because that's how Rome operated. They made allies, they got servants, you can buy your freedom and be called a Roman. But when you think of Rome, you don't think about Edomites, because that's who ruled. But you had all type of people there. When we think of Britain, we think of Edomites, because that's who's in power with it now. So that's who image is promoted. But that wasn't so 500 years ago. Niggas was ruling Britain. It's just that simple. We was kings and shit, as they say. It's true. But now the lie has been in control long enough. Now the truth is coming out, man. Let me grab that. Sirach 17. I'll hold that. Sirach 17. Come on, man. Commercial. All right. This second Esdras, chapter 6. And 28. As for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome, and the truth, which hath been so long without fruit, shall be declared. Now the truth is coming out. All right, this is Sirach 17. And 17. For in the division of the nations of the whole earth, he set a ruler over every people. In the division of the nations of the whole earth, the Lord divided the nations, man. Like the Elder Malcolm said, read Genesis 10. It tells you. He set a ruler over every people, but Israel is the Lord's portion. So, with that, hope it was edifying. All praises, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Kakodash. Double honors to the apostles, the Elder Great Millstone, and the Sausage Brothers doing this thing in sincerity and truth and with charity. Shalom, and a Baba Ball.